Welcome to another edition of It's in the Game podcast presented by Bowlers Live Red Bull. Shout out to Coach Sam, who's in the building. Shout out to Randy Cruz. What's good? We're here. We're just going to talk to you guys, get some info out, and have some fun. What's up, Coach Sam? What's good? You in the building?
Good, Denny. I'm feeling wonderful. A lot of big moves in professional basketball on the women's side and the men's side this week. So I'm happy to have this conversation with you because ball is life. You know what it is.
Bowlers Life. Of course, you know what it is. So let's just get right into it. So talk to me a little bit about the WNBA. I'm hearing a big trade happen, and I'll be honest, I know about Candace Parker. I know a little bit about her, but please, can you just remind me what kind of player Candace Parker is, how big this trade is, and after this trade, will she win a championship this year?
Well, this free agency week really boomed. This is like the equivalent of what happens in July with the NBA. Candace is an important part. She's a staple in the league in itself and in the women's game. And of course, 13 seasons with one team, we thought LA was going to be her forever home. However, she made the move now to the Chicago Sky. And I think it was a surprise for some diehard LA Sparks fans. But I think for others who are in the know, I think they may have saw the writing on the wall because the story within the story may be, was LA getting the most out of her game with Derek Fisher in charge? So for those who really know, when you pay attention, coach-player relationship matters, your role on the team matters, what direction the franchise is trying to go into. And with her being an Illinois native, what better way than to spend the rest of your career where you're from. So over to the Chicago Sky.
So Derek Fisher is the head coach?
He's the GM and the coach, yeah.
He's the GM and the head coach. Okay. And so she's going to a new team. And what do the Sparks get back in return from this big haul?
Well, they're trying to go younger, is what basically they're trying to do. They actually moved over Chelsea Gray too from LA. So I think that the biggest thing they're trying to do, I think, and they're trying to play fast and at a pace that some of the older players weren't keeping up, or they weren't just playing the best in that. So that's the big deal for them. So moving pieces to get younger and to remember everyone's trying to catch the Seattle Storm. That's the big deal. And even with Candace just winning MVP, not MVP, excuse me, she's a reigning MVP, but winning Defensive Player of the Year. That's what she did. With her winning Defensive Player of the Year, that's a big deal. So she still got it. This is not like she's fallen off at any point. She still got game. But I think the moves they're trying to make and what they're trying to do, it wasn't conducive to her style of play.
What chances do you think she has of winning the championship this year?
Well, she's joining a core of a team that's already pretty strong. So based on their performances in the bubble, they lost some key players to injury in the bubble. So they weren't 100%. They didn't have their 100% roster this past summer. However, I think that she is a nice piece and a nice addition to a team that's already got their core, and she'll transfer right in. Her skills are going to translate perfectly with the squad that they already have.
And that's and obviously with a lot of teams, a lot of trades, obviously we saw the trade with James Harden, if you will, that just recently happened. I was telling a lot of people, it boils down to chemistry.
Correct.
And I told folks the chemistry, with the ladies is obviously going to take some time. The chemistry with James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie is going to be quicker than most because they've played before, USA team. They have a rapport, so it's a little bit different than your trade that just happened. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen because with trades becomes different storylines and different avenues of where teams could possibly go. So I'm very excited to see where they possibly go. But other than that, you mentioned the Seattle Storm, and it's Sue Bird, right?
Yes, she's the point guard for them, along with Epiphany Prince, and Seattle's going to retain both of them. So both of them have re-signed. That's a nasty backcourt.
Epiphany Prince. Wait, last time I remember the Epiphany Prince. I remember hearing that name so many times, and I watched her play, and I was like, she is nasty.
The real deal. The real deal.
Yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. Okay, and Taurasi staying in Diana Taurasi.
It's staying in Phoenix, so she's gonna be a lifer there. She has a family now. She's married. She has a child now. So I think for her closing her career there, I think is what she was looking for, and the franchise is looking to keep up that commitment. I think I'm a college coach, so we recruit. And there's automatic turnover when it comes to player graduation. The pros are a different beast. There's not so much automatic turnover unless a player wants out. But if you are trying to change the face of your franchise, or if you're trying to change your style of play, certain pieces just may not fit anymore. And so free agency and the trade deadline opens up room for you to revamp your roster and change some things. So I think that this is going to be a new look WNBA, but it's still going to be fun, and it's still going to be exciting and high-quality basketball.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was just sitting back thinking about all the primetime trades that I could possibly remember. I could remember Shaq going at the Lakers, which I thought was wild when I first remember that trade happening. I remember the Bulls getting Rodman, which I thought was wild when I first, heard that happening.
Yes.
Grant Hill to Orlando.
It's a big change. It was. A big change.
I remember that happening. I also remember, for Randy, Patrick going to Seattle. That's for you, Randy. For always digging it in for me, that's for you, Randy. All right. I knew that would hurt your feelings. Speaking about the NBA, I knew that would hurt your feelings. Speaking about the NBA, we're a couple of games in, and have you been watching some of the games and keeping abreast of what's going on?
I have, mostly with the Brooklyn Nets. I'm attracted to them. I'm in Philadelphia 76er territory, so I can't help to, but also keep an eye on them. And as a kid, I was a big fan because of Iverson. So I pay attention all the Eastern Conference. And then, you could see behind me, I pay attention to the LA Lakers, reigning champions. So that's important too.
Yeah, what we're looking. I really want to fast forward to the playoffs. To be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, these 156, 179 games do not excite me.
I love them. I do. Go ahead.
They don't excite me. You're looking at very terrible basketball, no defense, no hustle. You're looking at NBA players take practice shots, if you will, in some of these games until the last 1 or 2 minutes. The other night, if you watch the Nets play the Washington Wizards, the game technically got tight the last 1 minute of the game. Mm-hmm. They really started to play defense the last 1 minute. Don't get me wrong; these are NBA players.
Correct.
But if you watch them, we're in tune with the game. And some of these other games during the season, the scores are very high. There's not a lot of defense being played. Having said all that, I'm looking at a Western Conference with the Lakers, Dallas. The Lakers. I said Dallas. The Lakers, Utah. The Lakers, Utah. We have Portland up there. We have Denver is what I wanted to say. Up there. So it's not going to be an easy road for the Lakers. Did you see your boy Joker have 47 the other night?
I did see that.
All right, against Gobert. Against Gobert. Now, if you know, Gobert is the defensive player of the year. Is he not? Am I bugging?
No, you're not bugging.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's the defensive player, and
you're our producer to hit us on that. Producer Randy.
Yeah, Randy hit us up. Yeah. and we're practicing future reference, by the way. Yeah, and I watched this game, and Joker looked like he was serving Gerber up a silver platter. It was barbecue chicken. So, and then you have the East, Milwaukee, Philly, the Nets,
Brooklyn, yup.
Miami.
Correct.
All right. Now, Philly scares me. Philly's very scary. They're big, they're long, they're athletic, they play D. And I was just about to tell Randy earlier before we switched over. I was like, the question always was for all my Philly fans, everybody, what's up? How are they, the Philadelphia coaching staff, going to help shield Ben Simmons' inefficiency of his shooting, basically hide his shooting? How are they going to do that in the playoffs? That's very important for them to take the next level if they're going to keep him. And of course, they have Danny Green there who shoots lights on when he's lights on. Okay, but I didn't see they had Seth Curry there. I did not. They have Seth Curry there. So now you have, and then Tobias can shoot as well.
Correct.
So now you have shooters. You have three bona fide shooters. Okay, Tobias, Curry, and Danny, surrounded by Embiid with an assist man who can also rebound and is great and is a great offensive rebounder. So I am fascinated, intrigued by this opportunity to see them play. Do you still think the Lakers are going to win the championship this year?
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to jump ship immediately. I think what we do have to do, though, is acknowledge that your point about the scores being super high and people's performances is indicative of the talent and the parity. So if this is the super team era and everyone's trying to create their own version, of course, that's what it's going to start looking like. The results, the game results are going to start looking like it. As you move closer to the playoffs, though, most teams are going to weed themselves out in terms of their lack of defensive efficiency and things like that. The ones that were tailor-made for it, they're just going to get better and better. Right now, it's early. It's very early. It's only week 7, right? Or week 8. So it's still very early. And I think people, like us, us media types, we have our takes and we make it seem like it's going to be like this way forever. This is a fluid game. It moves way too fast, and there are way too many abrupt changes, especially with this COVID era. So with some people missing games, some superstars might not play every game. You're going to see things roller coaster up and down, up and down. But who is going to be around at the end? Who is going to be dangerous? You're right. Sixers in Brooklyn. On the West Coast, I'll say LA and...
Yo, Denver is not... People can sleep on... Michael Porter Jr., bro, is the next coming of Tracy McGrady. He is a problem.
Yes, I still need a second team. I need another minute to think of who my second bona fide team in the West is going to be.
Besides LA and
LA, yeah. I'm thinking of another team because on the East Coast, Philadelphia is making their mark.
You don't think Denver's bona fide?
I didn't say I didn't think so. I'm comparing them in my mind, comparing them against another team. But I'm trying to see who would be the stronger.
Yeah, I mean the West. I mean, Utah's playing very, very well. Portland's not even full strength because McCullough's out. He hurt his foot, I believe.
I might get it to Portland. Denver had a shot last year, and listen, I don't want to. This is how you want it. They had a shot because it was the bubble and there was no travel. With the travel this year, I don't know if some people are gonna have the same results.
We gonna see.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I said it's a roller coaster. You're gonna see a lot of change, but as you get closer to All-Star and the playoffs, most people are gonna weed themselves out, and the ones who are the cream of the crop are gonna rise to the top.
We gonna see. Yes, you're 130% right. We will have injuries.
Mm-hmm.
We will have COVID suspensions.
Correct.
We will have missing players for 1 or 2 weeks, 1 or 3 days. You never know because these things happen, and that's what makes the NBA such a great soap opera. You never know, what you're gonna get. Is there any surprise team that's in the NBA right now that's just shocking you in terms of win-loss or in terms of players in general that are surprising you?
Surprise. I am a little impressed with. I'm a little impressed with Orlando. I don't know if they're dangerous, but watching them on TV, they got a nice young core there too. I would say the same about Atlanta. Some people there's some dark horses that are already emerging that I think if you're not careful, you can slip up and they could hurt you. They could hurt your playoff seeding.
I like Atlanta. But when you go back to, now that I'm thinking about it, you go back to Brooklyn. We're talking about trades here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I immediately said that the trade, sending Jared Allen, was a bad move. They need a big, and whether it's they go and try to get Manimal,
Mm-hmm.
or they try to get. I think they were trying to reach out to, if I'm not mistaken, they mentioned who they were trying to reach out to. Name slips my mind, but they need to get beef if they're trying to rebound with Giannis and go up against Lopez later on, or they're trying to even go up against the Sixers with Embiid. You're not going to be able to if the Nets meet up with the Sixers right now, as constructed, it's not looking good.
Mm-hmm.
The way I don't think the strategies are going to add up. Do you any all-stars? Any all-star players that you see that are there's a lot of players putting up good numbers too, which is interesting because of the non-defense during the season.
You want to keep sticking to that? Nah, man, the talent is shining. I mean, so far it's the usual suspects. Westbrook and Beal in the East. Levine's putting up all-star numbers. I think all three superstars from Brooklyn go.
We got to make room for Julius Randle somehow.
You know what?
We got to make room for Julius.
I usually combat you on things like that, but I'm gonna say he's putting up numbers. He's doing it, and they have a pretty decent record. They actually do. They got a pretty decent record, so I can see that too. West Coast, usual suspects. Some are hurt, but I think, yeah, I don't have any surprise all-stars. I don't, in terms of that.
Yeah, it's because usual suspect. But I think Randall's making himself into all-star. I think
Mm-hmm.
Levine's right on the cusp. Bradley Beal has been balling this year. Would I say Kyrie's an all-star right now? Yeah, the numbers suggest everybody on the on the Nets, the big three of the Nets,
right.
They're all going because of their numbers. So
right,
but then the all-star, the all-star game, they do the draft, so that's what's interesting too. So it doesn't matter.
I'd like to see Zion. I'll tell you that. I would like to see Zion in an all-star game. That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, I like Charlotte too. Sidebar.
Mm-hmm.
I like Charlotte. I like what they're doing, and finally they're starting Melo.
Oh, that's what you wanted anyway. I want now because coming off the bench they had it. I'm telling you, the scouts are going to start to change once you figure somebody out.
What are you suggesting?
Well, because he's still a rookie and you haven't seen every dimension of his game yet. So I'm saying I would have kept him. I personally would have kept him coming off the bench because there's still an air of mystery. Now that he's starting, if they figure him out too soon, it might spell a losing streak for them. That's all I'm saying.
Let me tell you something. There was a guy called Jason Kidd, right? I saw this boy play at Cal. He was 6'4", and he was stocky, 2 and change, and he ran the point so fast. His tempo was so quick and fast for his size. And I said, "Oh, he's going to the league." Gets to the league and he starts, and you can't teach what Jason Kidd has. You just let him go. You can't teach that. He is Jason Kidd, like most other gifted point guards, and I'm putting Melo in this conversation. Once you put him in a pick and roll, you're dead. You're dead. You're cooked, you're cleaned, you're sauteed, you're filleted. There's nothing you can do about it. And I saw it from the beginning with Melo in high school, going over to the pros, and now here in the league. So I thought they were wasting time. You start him now, get him more rapport, get him more chemistry with everyone, throw him into the fire. The quicker the better. Quicker the better.
I can see that. I got a question for you. Do you feel like anybody needs to move, a change of scenery? Do you like where certain superstars are now? You like LaVine in Chicago? Does he stay? And I feel like we talked about this before. We touched on it a little bit. Do you like K-Love in Cleveland? You know what I mean? So talk to me about that.
Let's touch on it some more. Let's sprinkle it on. Listen, free Bradley Beal. He needs to change the scenery like you have no idea. Free, and let me tell you something. Free Luka, yo.
Ooh.
Free Luka. Another sidebar. I want to stick it in again a little bit into Randy Cruz because it's clear for all the Knicks fans, if you will. It's clear for those that wanted to keep Kristaps Porzingis. The word is out. He can't play a whole season, let alone the playoffs. Okay, he's injury prone. He is done. So, Luka, I don't know how much Luka is going to be able to take of that losing.
Okay. So that's why you think he's got to go. You don't think Dallas should just bring somebody in? Say they should attract another star?
I mean, I'm thinking about. Okay, sure. Let's look at some options. We have. I know. Paul and George are free agents. There's a couple of free agents coming up too. So maybe they all join forces in Dallas and play with Luka. I don't know. I mean, looks like they're Paul and Kawhi look like they're having fun playing at home and doing what they want in LA. So I don't see them making a move. So when you say someone's going to come play with Luka, I'm like, who, man? Unless they peel away Bradley.
So this is my take. When they drafted Nowitzki, it took them a long time to build toward that team, whether it was bringing in a vet, bringing in more young guys, to get to the point where they beat Miami in that championship. And then still, you're kind of like, that took a long time, and then it wasn't the same after. They could never recreate it. Do you think they should just remain patient, or do you think they should just move quicker?
Oh, I think they should definitely. They have Luka, very young, so they could be patient. They have a couple of years, okay? He's a baby. But what I'm saying is, and if this makes sense, be patient, but then don't be patient. Because
they gotta move quick to attract a star. That's my point. That's what I'm asking you. Because he is gonna start to be jaded by that. You know what I mean? Nobody likes losing, especially when you know another GM is gonna pay you to do what you do on another. You can even go to the East. Luka in the East.
You see Zach, you see it in Zach, and you see it in Bradley, and you saw it in James when they were in a happy environment, just looking disgusted on the floor, just not interested, lethargic. And then when you do see them playing in games and they lose, it's just heartbreaking because you could see it on their face. They don't hide it. They don't hide it in this league, in this day and age. It's written all over their face. They know the camera's in their face, and they don't give a flying squirrel. So it's going to be interesting to see how much longer Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine, and Luka are going to, sit and play and quite possibly deal with those headaches in those cities. Let me ask you now. There was a debate earlier the weeks, a couple weeks back, about most influential basketball players. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the floor. You take your time with it. Most influential basketball players of all time, and it doesn't have to be a limit to how many you name. Just name a couple, and we will discuss if you may.
I got you. So off the top of my head, without trying to get too intricate or over analyzing, I'll probably say Kareem, Jordan, Iverson, Kobe, LeBron. Kareem, Jordan, Iverson, Kobe, LeBron. That's my first five.
That's pretty good. So you can't argue those names, and I'd like to throw some more out for you, if you will. Bounce off me, all right?
Got you.
Yeah. Listen, Shaquille O'Neal. Okay, there will be no other, right? You mentioned Kareem, so it's great. You know, another great big man. Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, Hakeem the Dream, influential, the most influential Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. As I'm talking, I'm adding more as I'm thinking about it. Okay, so you already mentioned Shaq, Steph Curry.
Yeah, I think that's more personal bias. I left him off. But talk to me about Curry. Why Curry?
Steph Curry has now changed the game, if you will, because it's always been this dunk first kind of situation with the league. And yeah, people have shot threes, but no one has shot the three in the many ways that this man can shoot the three that Steph Curry is. We've never seen an NBA player shoot the type of threes right over half court, 30 feet away from the left side, from the right side, off the left dribble, off the right dribble through his legs, fading away, off of 1 foot, clock winding down, in clutch time, double teamed, triple teamed.
I mean, yes, but
on the ground.
Is there an argument for Harden and Lillard? Now, the one difference is they don't have the chips, but they're seemingly shooting at the same clip, and they're the same type of degree of difficulty, I guess, if we will.
Yeah, well, seeing those two play, the type of difficulty I thought, looking at the NBA, I thought I saw a lot more. This is how I'll define it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Coach Sam. Right? I used to play in games where you always have a situation where it's a heat check, where you've hit 2 or 3 shots, and you're like, "Yo, I'm feeling it, right?" You used to have players that would shoot the I'm feeling it shots. It would all range, right? It would range because you want to see how much you feeling it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have guys that would just, go into the paint and maybe shoot a fade away. You would have guys or girls, they would just maybe shoot off 1 foot.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw Steph not be in heat check mode, where he was actually just coming down and that was a regular shot, that's when I knew. I said, "Oh no, he's different. No, he's different." Like Harden and Dame came a little later where I started seeing shots. I was like, "Oh, that's okay." Like the coach would say, "Don't shoot that. Okay, don't shoot that. Oh, okay," because you're expecting a 30-foot shot.
Mm-hmm.
So go left, go right, be an air ball. When you got a guy shooting 47, 48% from the clip, from 30 off the dribble, it's not catching set shots. He's doing it off the dribble. So you don't even know when it's going to come and he'll be able to pull. So I say all that to say, Curry, I think, when I say influential, the babyface assassin will go down in history as, one of the best players under a certain size, but influential. Oh, also Dirk Nowitzki.
I can see that, Denny, and I'll give you this. So I think historians know 3-point shooters, whatever, traditionally pre-90s. I think Reggie Miller made it cool. like you said, the non-athlete, the non-dunker, it was hard to be considered cool. Reggie made the 3-point shot cool.
And Ray Allen. Yeah.
And Ray Allen, yes.
Oh.
He wasn't as cool as Reggie, though. Not as cool as Reggie. But not with the black socks and the long shorts. He was just as cool as Reggie.
True.
However, you're right about this. From Curry and now beyond, the evolution to Dame and Harden and Dirk, too, in between there, it has to do with making the 3-point shot just as attractive as some of the other plays and the highlights. You know what I mean? And then when you added, not only can they shoot, they can drive, they got the ball handling skills, so they're a highlight all within themselves. So I can see that. I can see the influence there. I got a personal thing against the Warriors, so I'm not team Curry on most arguments. I'm probably going to go against you. But I feel you. I respect it.
Have we gone through this already? We have?
Nah, just when we just talking NBA in general. I'm not Steph Curry ain't the top of any of my list of anything. He's not. So and I'm not saying he's not good. I just said he not.
Oh, your preference. So let me ask you your preference, and then we'll wind down. Your preference. So if you GM, Bang, your team, Coach Stan, GM, executive, you're picking your first your first 5 guards. Your first 5 guards that you can pick. Point guards. Who would you pick? Your first 5.
Current players or historically?
Current players right now. Current
players right now.
I'm trying to see how low Curry's on your totem pole.
Current players, Kyrie's probably first for me. I'm going Kyrie number 1.
Okay.
And a lot of people hate that.
Okay. That's fair.
I'm going Kyrie first.
Your list. Go ahead. I'm listening.
After Kyrie, I'm probably gonna go Kemba. I'm going Kemba.
Yeah, I do not hate Kemba. Sidebar, Randy. I do not hate Kemba. I hate you. Sidebar, Randy. I do not hate Kemba. I'm just keeping 1,000 BX all day. I do not hate Kemba. All right. Sidebar. Huh? All right.
After him, number 3, I'm probably gonna go. No, this is good.
You have Westbrook. You have Dame Lillard. You have Jamal Murray. You have Chris Paul. You have
probably go Paul number 3, and then I probably go Dame number 4, and then I go.
Yeah.
The one thing I have told y'all before, Curry is not at the top, and he's not at the top of any of my lists.
If I may, I just want a little bit deeper. So we'll peel this back a little bit more. Just a little bit more. I'm fascinated. This excites me. It really does. So what is it that doesn't put you? I mean, top 3, top 5. Curry's not even your top 5. What is it that he's missing?
I wouldn't say he's. I don't know. I told you it's personal. I think from a defensively and an aggression standpoint, he ain't really that great of a defender. He really ain't.
Fair.
You might be on that side.
That's fair.
It's serviceable, and for who his teammates are, it works.
Forgot about John Wall too. Damn, forgot about John Wall.
Yeah, he's probably. I don't know. I might be tripping off that one, but I might put him ahead of Curry too, just because I just want some like anti-Curry stuff. But I just like,
hey, pour salt in the wound. It's okay.
And now, honestly, before John Wall, I mean, if you could play, he didn't come into the league as a point guard, but I probably put Harden at the one before him too.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the concept. Yeah, I mean, I look at Harden as a 2. Even though he's out, he can average 12 assists from the 2 position, which is interesting. But yeah, no, it's funny that Curry conversation is funny. But yeah, going back to the influential ball players. We got them all. These are all what these are all dope influential players, and you can't argue this list. We're obviously early in the seasons for both the WNBA and the NBA, but I don't even know if I don't even know if we have an MVP that's standing out right now for the NBA.
That's a great question, and I do want us to dive into that because every now and then I turn on Sports Talk and I'm seeing some people who have, each week performances are dictating who's voting for who and where they stand. I think you got to give Luka a look this year. I think you do. You pointed out earlier so eloquently, if you remove him from Dallas, I don't think they're winning anything. And I think when you talk about value, that matters. If their absence dictates the win-loss record, I think you have to always consider them as an MVP candidate. That's why it's been Giannis last few seasons. That's why for a long stretch it was LeBron. You know what I mean? Or he was in the running. He was up in the running. Harden with Houston a couple seasons ago. So those things matter. That if you remove this one guy, does this team win anything? Are they even still competitive if you remove this one guy?
I understand. I really do. But unfortunately, Luka could average 50, 10, and 5. If the team can't even make the playoffs, barely 500, he's not going to win MVP. The voters don't vote like that.
Yeah. Now, that's a valid argument.
Voters don't vote like that, unfortunately. So he can average 50, 10, 5. He'll be it'll be a dope season and everything will be gravy. The reason why James Harden won his MVP
because
Houston was winning.
Mm-hmm.
Houston was winning. So if you're gonna do all that, all the scoring and the assisting and the rebounding, and you're gonna go for MVP, you're LeBron James, your Currys,
you do, and I think
your freaks, and all winning teams.
You got to look at Embiid too. The numbers he's putting up, you got to look at Embiid. And I think you got to look at KD with Brooklyn. I think you do. You do. I know they're still in that figuring it all out stage, but there is no denying that he's changed everything.
Who's this that's changed everything?
KD.
KD.
Oh, remember they were a winning team before he got there, but it's so that's not the argument. It's just the idea of the value he brought even further. He elevated them even further because it went from this team could make the playoffs to this team could win the championship. So that matters too.
It's night and day, and the scary part about it is, like I said, I don't even think they're. Oh yes, that's what it was. Ding, the Denny message was received. Ding, JaVale McGee. They're trying to go after JaVale McGee. The Brooklyn Nets are trying to go after JaVale McGee. I'm saying to them, they need to get a big man quick, fast, and in a hurry. I'd rather them go after Andre Drummond, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're thinking going after JaVale McGee. I would rather go after Andre Drummond. He's going to rebound and set screens and not say a word, and he'll give you 20 without having any plays run for him.
Right.
So you're I don't know what their thought process is, but yes, KD with the Nets, and they're not even playing full strength. This team is not even at full strength. The Lakers are at full strength. They're not going to be making any trades.
Correct.
They're not going to be getting any better. This is what you see is what you're going to get. But the Nets have room for major improvement, and they're good now.
Which makes it scary. It's exactly the point that we're saying when it comes to the East Coast. But the series format changes everything. You know what I mean? So you and I we're basketball players, basketball fans, and basketball commentators. So that's 3 different lenses of looking at the game. So we know from the court to the locker room and through the TV. I say all that to say you can't still count out certain people. Like Boston almost took out LA the other day. You know what I mean? They needed a turnover. First of all, with 6 seconds left, LA turned the ball over. And then they needed a spectacular play by Caruso, and somebody else, I think, ran in and tapped the ball away from Jaylen Brown and allowed them some time to save themselves the game. But
Kemba missed a shot at the buzzer.
Yes, exactly.
Randy. Well, no, that's not the reason why they lost though. But yeah, you
I'm
mentioned.
just saying that there are teams that are they're dark horse teams that are still dangerous. You can't count anybody out. And that 7-game format, you have a couple slip ups or somebody goes missing because of injury or COVID, and it's going to change everything.
And that's what I'm very fearful of. It's not a COVID situation when you're getting a 1 or 2 days off. You're talking about you're going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks because of the protocols, and you got to stay away from people. So it's gonna, a couple of games can move you around in rankings, and they can affect who seeding and where you play. So it's going to be very interesting. Like I said, the dynamic NBA soap opera is live and in full effect. I am thankful so much for Coach Sam for you to come on the show and jibber jabber with me about the NBA and the WNBA. I appreciate you. Shout out to Randy Cruz. I hope you feel better, my brother.
Yes.
Once again, this is It's in the Games podcast, powered by Ball is Life. We appreciate everyone tuning in, watching us. You can follow Coach Sam. You've got the actual information right there. And you can follow me. I am Denny Blanco. And Randy J. Cruz, you can follow him on Twitter as well. So until we meet again.
Oh, there's always smack to talk. You already know I'm down for whatever.
Until we meet again, it's Ball is Life.
Thank you.
Later.